Hello everyone and welcome to the Unidata platform video. The topic of this video is adding new models to the platform, and we will also talk about the pipelines. The Unidata platform implements a modular architecture which allows you to easily add the functionality and customize the system to your needs. In this video we will create a new model from scratch. Our model will be embedded into the processing of the existing pipeline. We will need a data model to work with. I have already created a simple model that contains one register with one attribute. This is simply attribute of type string. First, we create a new project with the Gradle. You can work in a fork of project, but for example, I will make a model from scratch. Project name is suggested by Gradle. The main package which is using domain name, we will still use it. The project is created, is good. Now I will immediately copy the directory with dependencies I took from distribution kit. I will tell about them later. Let's open the project in the IDEA. Let's go to the project build file. I will copy my template file. Add a local directory as a repository. This is a directory containing our libraries. And now let's add libraries to our project. I need 4 libraries. The first 2 libraries are System Library and Core Library. This is libraries needed to create model and access to Pipelines API. We also need libraries to work with data. We will work with the record upset operation, so we need the draft and data libraries. First, we create a class that defines our model. Let's add a model package. This is name adopted in the naming convention. In this package, let's add our class. Let's call it sample model. We should inherit this class from the abstract model class. This is a basic type of describe the modulus of the system. With it helps the system gets information about our model. Now we need to implement methods that are declared abstract in the parent class. The first method is the getID method. It returns the identifier of our model. This value must be unique for each model. We can use the full name of the class. The getVersion method should be return the version of the model. The version number depends on the versioning approach of your project. GetName, this is just name of the model. I'll use simple class name. GetDescription, the description of our model. Write anything. Okay. Now we have to tell the Unidata that our class exists. To do this, we have to write its name in the manifest, which will be added to the jar file. Oops, copying the wrong thing. Now let's move on to implementing logic of our model. To do this, let's create the package named service. In this package, we will add our handler class. Custom upset handler, it's okay. Our handler must work in pipelining, so we must inherit it from the point class. The point class parameters it. As this parameter, we must specify the type of context with which we plan to work. In our case, this is the upset request context. We have to implement abstract methods and also implement a constructor. In the constructor, we must specify our extension point identifier and description. As in the case of the module, I will just use the name of the class as identifier. Add some description. We don't need it anymore. We have two methods, method suppers and method point. The method suppers is used to check if our class can be called in pipeline. The parameter of this method is the starting point of the pipelining. This is the point at which the operation starts. We should get true or false, depending on whether we can handle this pipeline or not. In our case, we just check the type of the input parameter. This condition will be met if the starting point has input type upset request context. Now everything is ready to implement our function. The input parameter is the upset request context from which we can get records we want to change. Let's get the attribute which are going to change. As a parameter, we pass the name of the attribute that we set when we create the model. Let's check the attribute is a string attribute type. If everything is fine, we will set the value to expected type. Now we can change the paste value. It's some prefix, for example. Our handler is ready. Now we need to tell the system that our handler exists. To register our handler, let's go to the class of our model. Let's override the start method. These methods are called on model startup, and this is good place to register our handler. Let's add a new segment. Ready. Now we need to build the project and add our model to the system. Let's build the jar. To work with Tomcat, I use Docker Compose. It is not necessary, but it is more convenient for me. To add our model, we have to copy it to the Tomcat class path. We need to restore the Tomcat. Let's take a look at the logs. The system starts up. The system started. Now we go to the pipeline section. We are interested in the pipeline which is the responsibility for saving the record. In this pipeline we have to hit a new segment, find our segment. Our segment has to be executed first at the point where it's written to the database, so move it to the top. Our segment will be executed right after the start point. Save it. Let's go to the data section. Select our registry. Let's create a new record. We will set any value as parameter. Save it. We see that our code has worked. The code we wrote in the handler. That's all. We have added our module and built our handler into the pipeline. Thank you for watching. Bye.